So Andy, maybe our next question, and I just did want to say to our viewers, if you have questions that you want to put to Andy, be thinking about that, and hopefully we'll give a chance to have you put some your questions out there too, because it's important that your voices be seen and heard too, that you be seen and heard. Andy, I was wondering, what is the best bit of advice that you've ever been given?
You know, it was from my first year English professor. And we always had an assignment where you could do a research assignment where you had to think outside the box and engage other people. You could do a creative writing assignment. And I always chose the creative writing one because it was all about me, right? I can write in my first person. And so he sat me down one day and he said, it's not always about you. And if you can't figure that out, you're going to have a tough time getting out of your bubble. And so his advice was, you know, to understand that the world is bigger than who you are and your own experiences. And I took that in a completely different way. I was hurt at first because I thought, what do you mean? I'm a very giving person. He said, no, you got to start understanding that it's not about you. And it was the best advice I think he could ever give me. And I've taken that with me in the last 25 years, maybe a little bit more since I graduated. I think I'm dating myself. But I always think about that. And
this is prime time for women, so it's okay.
Yeah, I feel I'm amongst friends. So I think about that all the time. No matter what endeavor I am going to step into, I have to make sure that what I'm doing it for, it's not about me. And that is carried with me.
That's great. Yes, so you're running for elected office. I was wondering, do you have a role model, somebody that inspires you, somebody you look up to as you tackle this new phase of your life, this new adventure?
Yeah. And you know, it's so funny. That question is so poignant because I had class last night in my doctoral studies and we were talking about fluidity, right? We're talking about how it's kind of a continuum and you continue to grow and learn. I think 3 months ago, before the pandemic hit, I would give you names like, you know, Elizabeth Warren, Barack Obama, Frances Perkins, who was the first female cabinet member and a member of my alma mater, Mount Holyoke College. I would talk about, you know, female baseball players and just really, you know, awesome women and people making a change. But the more I think about it, let's go back to the original question about stepping outside my comfort zone. I think that for folks who serve in this pandemic and keeping our community safe are my new heroes and my new mentors. I'm talking about law enforcement, EMS, firemen, grocery store clerks, nurses, doctors, teachers. Holy cow, if that isn't inspirational, going to work as an essential employee in this pandemic, as I sit at home taking care of my family and going out twice a week, that's my new mentor, my new hero. They run into danger when everyone else is at home. And I can't think of a better person to look up to.
That's a good answer. We were just talking before about what was the best advice that you have ever that you received, and you talked about the teacher. You know, it's not all about you, Andy.
That's right.
What advice do you have for the rest of us? I mean, this is prime time for women, and this is a chance for you to speak to us and maybe give us a little taste of the Andy wisdom.
You know, there's two pieces of advice, and people go, what? It's eat the cake and turn left. You know, so many times we sit down and we say, no, we're not going to have that piece of cake at a birthday party because we can't do that. And it's about the experience, right? Eat the cake, be present, do the things with people, you know, indulge just a little bit, make sure you self-care. And turn left is more about, I've driven across the United States about 4 different times. And it was always, we have to get someplace, right? We have to make it to Memphis by a certain day. Every once in a while, get off the beaten path and turn left and go experience something outside of your bubble. Go experience something that you've never seen before. I have never seen the biggest ball of string in the middle of America, and I want to. And I've driven across the United States 4 different times, and we never stopped because we never took left. We never turned left. So eat the cake, turn left, and get out of your bubble.
That's good. That's good. Yep. I like that. Yeah. So as we're thinking about, whoops, I think some other people are coming in. Hold on. Let me see. Hold on. I'm still new at this. Okay. Okay, I think we have Carolyn Clouser joining us too. Okay, hi, Carolyn. Good to see you. Let's see. So the next question for you is, so we're all human, right? We all have our strengths and, oops, hold on. I'm getting some text here. Okay, Penny Jo says she's going to eat the cake.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, so what I was going to ask you is that, we're all human. We all have our strengths and our weaknesses. And I was wondering, without going into a lot of detail, I was going to ask you to describe yourself as 3 strengths and maybe 1 weakness, 1 liability.
Sure, yeah. I think my strengths are leadership, respect, and transparency. And that's what I've been saying from the beginning. I've been running a campaign based on who I am. I think I have leadership skills that have broad strokes across industry. I'm transparent in my ideas. I'm data driven. I think giving respect, even when you don't receive it, is a huge deal. My liability is that I take on too much. I know that, Bernadette, you have talked on Primetime for Women about self-care and understanding that it's okay to say no every once in a while, and I have a hard time with that. As I said before, Andi can do it, right? And it's okay sometimes to say, well, I have a friend who can do it too, just as wonderful, because I need to take some time, and I sometimes overcommit. And before you know it, I've caught the cold, I'm down for the count, and I'm helping no one. So you can't fill a bucket from an empty well, and I think that's a liability I have to start thinking about.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting, because it does seem to me that, sometimes our biggest strength is also our liability, and
Yep.
it's both. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Thanks for sharing that. And it's not always easy to talk about our weaknesses, but sometimes, especially in our elected officials, that transparency is important to hear them say, I am not perfect. I don't have every answer. I was also thinking, as a 2-term elected board member, I can attest to the difficulty of running for office during normal times. I was wondering, what is the hardest thing about running for office at this time, at this particular junction in history with the pandemic?
Sure. Well, we shifted our campaign to everything virtual. We're reaching out to campaign voters, or to constituents and voters, as best as we can, doing social distancing, Zoom meetings, sending out postcards. But honestly, Bernadette, my concern right now is the health and well-being of the citizens of Hagerstown, plain and simple. I am concerned about our small businesses, making sure that we can open up when we can, but I think life is more important. So, the other day I made sure that I could go to the grocery store for my 80-year-old neighbor, and I picked her up a few things. I have volunteered my time, if needed, to wash dishes in a small business because they couldn't hire anyone. I think the campaign right now at a municipality level is all about how we can help our community, plain and simple. If that wins votes, great. If it doesn't, I don't care, because quite frankly, right now we have to take care of the people in this town. And I think that that's where our campaign has shifted. How can we do the most, period, in whatever capacity that is, in order to uplift this town and make sure we know that the primaries are on June 2nd and that we are well enough to be able to do it and to vote. And that's really where our campaign has shifted. I will tell you, Bernadette, at first, we obviously we made phone calls, we have sent out postcards, we've done Facebook advertisements and sponsorships. But the feedback we're getting, and that's what the campaign has always been about, is what can I do to serve you, is about service over self. So when someone needs something, we jump into action and make it happen. And
okay.
That's where we are. That's
great. Well, I have a couple comments here. Is that a cat drinking coffee in your background?
Yep, that is from an artist from New Orleans, and it's a very it's a cat. I'd pick up my laptop, but it's not going to happen. It's a cat who's just kind of judgy, to be honest, and I think we can all feel that way before our coffee. So when I saw it, I thought, I know exactly what this cat is feeling. I need that on my wall. That's a cat drinking coffee.
Yeah, that is cute.
Yeah.
Okay, so I actually have a comment from Penny Jo says, eat cake and turn left should be a title of your autobiography.
Oh, it should. I'll see what I can do about that, Penny Jo. That's a great suggestion. I'll write that down. I'll put that on a postcard too.
And then I am going to open this up to people. I'm going to unmute people and let them ask you questions directly. But I did have one question here from Kimberly,
Okay.
and it is more of a political conversation. And
That's fine.
this particular interview was really meant to be introducing you as a person and not to talk to you or put you on the spot about political matters. But my last question would be, would you be interested in taking questions at another date, specifically set up to talk about your platform, your ideas, and to answer questions about our delegation's drive for serving our community and that kind of thing?
Well, yeah, two things. The answer, of course, is yes. I think that I wouldn't be transparent if I said no, right? Anytime a community member, whether it is one person or 400 people, want to learn about how we can move Hagerstown forward and my vision, I'm open for it. I'm there.
And I will get you at this point maybe to say, do you have a website? And if so, could you give a website?
That's exactly it. So obviously you can find me on Facebook. I'm Andi Overton 2020 or Andi Overton for Hagerstown Mayor. And of course, my website is my name. It's andioverton.com. Andi's with an I. You can find a lot of information there. It is pretty high level, right? Because it's a website. So I encourage folks to reach out, to contact me, to send me an email, Andi@andioverton.com. And I am more than happy to have the really deep dive conversations that we need to have to move Hagerstown forward. And I'm happy to do it at anyone's convenience. Let's communicate.
Perfect. Okay, so I'm unmuting everybody. And let's see, unmute here. Yeah, let me see.
And then they may have to unmute themselves on their own computer. It just depends how you set it up.
Yeah, they might have them muted. Yeah, so anyhow, if you would like to ask Andi a question, this is an opportunity for you to do that now. And hi, Carolyn. Carolyn. To put a question to Andi, and remember that this particular dialogue today is really more about who she is as a person. And I'm so grateful that she is interested and willing to maybe address her platform at a later time. So if you have a question, just go ahead, take it away.
And it's okay if you don't. I know it's I see Marcia's holding.
Hi. Well, actually, you read my mind, because I would love to have Andi on again with political questions. That's kind of what's on my mind. I've really enjoyed getting to know you, though, and I really like your attitude, and I turn left a lot, and I eat a lot of cake. So right on, and I'll just look forward to talking again. Thank you.
Oh, happy to do it at any time. And again, Marcia, you can always reach out to me if you want to talk even one-on-one if needed. I'm happy to listen, and I'm happy to give you what my vision is. That'd be great.
Excellent. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Sure.
So Penny Jo, did you have a question?
I thought I did, and it just.
Okay, that's fine. I do like the suggestion for her title of her autobiography, though.
Isn't it though?
Yep.
Isn't it though?
Eat the cake and turn left.
That in there. I thought, oh, you need a ghostwriter?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, Carolyn, do you have a question?
I do have a question, and my cat might get in the screen here. I apologize if she.
Oh, I hope that happens. All fuzzy friends are welcome.
Okay. So I'm always curious about people, if they you could wake up tomorrow with a superpower hero or a magic power. What would it be?
Well, it depends on my mood, but I've always said that I would love to fly. And I'll tell you why. It's because I am terrified of heights. And so I think that if I could wake up tomorrow, and I'd love to be altruistic. I would love to be able to say, I'd like to wake up tomorrow and solve all the ills of the world. But I'm a little bit more Marvel Comics than I am DC. So let's talk about superpowers that are just kind of otherworldly as well. I'd love to be able to fly, because it would get over my fear of heights. And it would allow you to see in a different perspective. The biggest thing that I saw one time, I have a friend who's like 6'7" or 6'8", and I am 5'3". And I said, you're just so tall. What does it look like up there? And he went down on his knees, and I stood up on a chair, and he goes, now you see what I see. And I thought, wouldn't it be cool to be able to do that anytime you wanted to get that different perspective? So I think if I woke up tomorrow and I could fly, wow, what a great perspective.
Yeah, that's a good answer. I think, that could be perspectives from not only height, it could be in terms of education or in terms of wealth or in terms of
interpret it how you want, but that's where I was going.
Good question there, Carolyn.
And it would be nice to reach the top shelf at Walmart, right?
Yeah, or clean the top of my refrigerator is really what I'm looking at. I don't even know the dust is there because I can't see it.
Well, see, us shorties might not want to be tall because then you'd have to clean more.
Yeah, that's a good point. So I'd like to be able to fly and be tall and have someone come and clean my refrigerator.
There you go. How about Kimberly or Lori? Do either of you have a question? If so, you'll have to unmute. Oh, no. You'll have to unmute Lori's already unmuted. Christine, Emily or Kimberly or Lori, do any of you have questions? Okay, I don't think so, Andi, but I really appreciate your time today. And I do feel like your Prime Time for Women's mission of giving you the opportunity to connect and to share who you are was well served today. We thank you for your candid transparency, and we wish you the very best with your, as you seek to new visions in the second half of life.
Oh, that's exactly it. And Bernadette, thank you for the outlet. I've always enjoyed watching everything you've done, obviously, and I appreciate so much your service to our community. I think we can do great things. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, folks, for taking the time this afternoon and listening to my crazy background and my stories. And I hope to see all of you and connect as a deeper dive into what we can do for Hagerstown. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks everybody. See you later.
Lily wanted to say hi.
Oh, say hi, Lily. Take care, everybody.
Thanks, Bernadette. See ya.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.